Support for SportsPage is provided by the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for SportsPage is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.
Welcome to this week's edition of SportsPage on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. I'm Adrienne Columbus.
I'm Jason Katz.
And I'm Benjamin Eaton. We're debuting some exciting changes this semester as our sports broadcasting class here at the University of Central Missouri will be producing and hosting the show.
But don't worry, we'll still provide game highlights, news, and in-depth stories on the UCM Mules and Jennies on this week's edition of SportsPage.
It has been a while since our last show, so let's get started.
The winter sports are in full swing now, but the last time SportsPage was on air, some of the fall sports hadn't quite wrapped up yet. We're going to give you some recap of those winter sports up to this point. But first, let's take a look back at how the UCM fall sports finished out 2014, starting with football.
UCM football season ended with another trip to the postseason as the Mules accepted a bid to play in the Live United Texarkana Bowl. UCM clicked on all cylinders and defeated Southeastern Oklahoma State 48-21. Senior running back LaVance Taylor capped his record-setting season by being named MVP of the bowl game. He rushed for 264 yards and a touchdown and caught 3 passes for 87 yards and a score in the contest. Hayden Hawk was nearly perfect as well, completing 21 of 25 passes for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns. Taylor's performance was an exclamation point on a fantastic year. He rushed for a school record 1,918 yards and 15 touchdowns. He also produced the UCM record 2,618 all-purpose yards. His 218.2 all-purpose yards per game was tops in NCAA Division II. For his effort, Taylor was named an AP Little All-America first-team recipient. He was also a Daxtronics and D2Football.com second-team All-American. Senior tight end Cullen Rosine was also an honorable mention D2Football.com All-American after catching 34 passes for 427 yards. He was also a first-team academic all-district selection for the College Sports Information Directors of America. Postseason honors also went to junior offensive tackle Brian Berzanski, senior defensive tackle Ramon Hunter, and senior free safety Connor Smith. They joined Taylor on Don Hanson's all-region team. The Mules finished the season 8-4. It was the 8th consecutive winning season and the 3rd postseason trip in 5 years for the Mules. Reporting for SportsPage, I'm Coburn Thompson.
So a great way for the Mules football team to finish up 2014. There's nothing better than going out with a win. The football team has not had much rest. The players have been working out in the weight room since the 2014 season ended, and with some warm weather this winter, they've been able to get out on the practice field.
Before we know it, spring drills will be here. Our Brianna Blocker caught up with the Mules head football coach Jim Svoboda to talk about the latest recruiting class and his team's upcoming spring season.
I'm here with Mules head football coach Jim Svoboda. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good.
All right. So what were you looking for going into the recruiting this year?
Well, we really wanted to sign at least one player at each position this year, and we successfully did that and got some very good players at the top of our list at all those positions. So we were real happy with how that turned out. And prioritizing is a big part of recruiting, and you really got to be disciplined to stay within the parameters that you set in the beginning. And, you know, you look at your depth chart and who graduated and who's coming up, and then you just make some decisions in terms of those numbers and try to stick with them best you can.
All right, so how would you rate this recruiting class?
I think it's the best class we've had since I've been here, which is 2010. Their facilities made a big difference, but it was just a year where there was a lot of good in-state players, and then we did nab a few quality out-state players and just kind of fit what we were looking for this year. And so I think just in terms of the size of the guys that we got a lot of good frames, and we got some kids that play multi-sports that are really good all-around athletes. So I'd have to put it at the top.
So what impact does going into the bowl game and winning the bowl game have on the spring training?
Well, it really helped our younger guys. What was kind of fun about it was we actually, the first week after the season, when we found out we were going to go to the bowl game, we actually gave the veteran players that week off. And so we had all the rookies, the kids that redshirted, just by themselves, and so we could get them in touch with, our own offense that they hadn't been doing for a couple of weeks, and so it was fun just to work with those kids and spend some quality time with them.
So as we go into the spring season and look ahead to 2015, what can UCM fans expect from the Mules?
Well, we really have a lot of good athletes. We're going to be pretty young. I think we're going to be somewhat different on offense from the standpoint that we have some really mobile quarterbacks, and so we're excited about adding that dimension to what we do. We've broken a lot of passing records around here at Central, and actually we've kind of phased into that running part of it a little more with LaVance Taylor breaking a lot of the rushing records last year. So I think it's kind of cool that we've been here 5 years and we've had an opportunity to break school records in both passing and rushing.
Well, thank you so much for interviewing with us today.
Thank you.
Turning to the other fall sports, plenty of our teams here at UCM went out with a bang.
The Jennies soccer team finished the 2014 campaign in the Elite Eight round of the NCAA Division II tournament. This is the farthest into the national postseason the Jennies have ever gone. To reach that round, the UCM women knocked off the #1 ranked team in the country, previously unbeaten Minnesota State. That was an exciting 3-2 overtime victory for the Jennies. Unfortunately, the run ended in the next game when UCM couldn't get past defending national champions Grand Valley State, who also went on to win a second straight title. After opening the season unranked, the Jennies went on to complete a 21-1-2 record, the most wins in a single season in program history. UCM captured its 5th straight MIAA title. 2 Jennies earned All-America honors. Junior forward Julie Ireland earned first-team accolades, and sophomore Emily Eldridge was third-team.
Central Missouri Volleyball finished the 2014 season with its 32nd straight trip to the NCAA tournament. The Jennies finished the season at 22-9 with a second straight MIAA regular season title. UCM had 3 All-Americans from the American Volleyball Coaches Association for the 2014 season. Annie Riley was put on the first team after being named to the second team last season. Carly Soika was second team member, and Haley Thompson made the third team.
The UCM men's cross-country team cracked the top 10 in the final meet of the season at the Central Regional Championships. The Mules finished 9th among 22 squads. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to move on to nationals. Junior Michael Golick led the Mules in that race, finishing 30th with a personal best time of 32 minutes, 41.7 seconds. Senior Adam Treadway was just a few seconds behind Golick, placing 35th. The Jennies cross-country team finished 14th as a team at the Central Regional Championships. Senior Megan Glayman was named All-Region for the 2nd consecutive season after earning 20th place. Glayman crossed the line in 22 minutes, 31 seconds. Following Glayman was fellow senior Allie Rexroth. Freshman Nicole Svedson also cracked the top 100, placing 79th.
The Mules golf team competed in 5 tournaments during the fall season, never finishing outside the top 10. UCM recorded 4 top 3 finishes and won the Missouri Western Regional Invitational. Senior Sam Migdal leads the Mules heading into the spring portion of their season with a 73.7 average. Junior Travis Mays is right behind at 73.9. The Jennies golf team had top 10 finishes in all 5 fall tournaments, including top 5 rounds in its last 2. Sophomore Kelly Welker and freshman Taylon Intrican are pacing the Jennies. Welker boasts an 80.2 average, while Intrican is at 81.5.
Both call teams start the second half of their season in March, so we'll catch up with them again when they're back out on the links.
So now you're all caught up on how the fall sports ended MIAA championships for soccer, volleyball, and good seasons for the UCM teams. We'll be here every week to keep you updated on Mules and Jennies.
We're going to take a little break, but when we come back, we'll talk about the winter sports here at Central Missouri. You're watching Sports Page on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS.
I choose excitement.
I choose to make a difference.
I choose uncommon opportunities.
I choose Red to experience learning to a greater degree.
Choose Red. Choose the University of Central Missouri.
What if television could remember the heroes we honored, the music we danced to, the dreams we chased?
The hope still lives and the dream shall never die.
No one tells our nation's story like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring America's story to life.
Welcome back to Sports Page. It's time to turn our attention to winter sports here at Central Missouri.
Basketball, wrestling, indoor track and field, and bowling are all in season right now. Some of these teams are actually pretty deep into their seasons, quickly approaching the MIAA championships.
Right, so we've had quite a few games over the Sports Page break, and now we're going to get you all caught up on what's happening with the Mules and Jennies.
We'll kick off these recaps with Mules basketball. Of course, this UCM team is the reigning Division II national champion, and the Mules are working under a new coach.
The defending national champion Mules basketball team opened the 2014-2015 season on a 10-game win streak. Included in that streak were back-to-back overtime wins, Quincy and Arkansas Fort Smith. Newcomer Rakeem Dickerson had a career night in the Quincy game, scoring 41 points while hitting 13 of 19 from the floor, including 4 of 4 from three-point range. Under the direction of first-year head coach Doug Carlson, the Mules also got a win in their first MIAA contest of the season, an 80-71 thriller at Fort Hays State. UCM did see its 33-game winning streak come to an end on December 18th when the Mules dropped a 72-57 decision to Central Oklahoma. They bounced back 2 days later with an 81-62 thrashing of Northeastern State. Dickerson led the charge with 21 points and 4 assists. Jordan Epps chimed in with 20 points off the bench, hitting 6 of 8 from beyond the arc. After falling in a heartbreaker 65-64 at Nebraska Kearney, Coach Doug Carlson's squad seemed to have another streak going with tough wins at Washburn. Brendan Hughes and Kyle Wolf led the Mules in scoring in that contest with 12 points each. And against Pittsburgh State, Preston Bruns was a leader with 14 points and 3 assists. But the UCM suffered a surprising upset at the hands of Emporia State, 84-78 in overtime, after leading by as many as 16. Again, though, the Mules showed resilience as they rattled off 3 straight wins over Missouri Western, Northwest Missouri, and Lincoln. On January 24th, UCM did fall 82-68 at league-leading Lindenwood to start a 3-game road swing. But the Mules rightened the ship when they traveled to Joplin to take on Missouri Southern on Saturday, January 31st, and won 89-79. The win lifted UCM to 17-4 on the season, 8-4 in the MIAA. Dickerson and Epps paced the Mules with 21 and 16 points, respectively. The Mules ran their win streak to 3 with 67-64 overtime win at Southwest Baptist and a 71-69 win at home over Missouri Southern. Jordan Epps drained a 3-pointer with 3 seconds left to tie the game at SBU. The Mules scored the first 3 points of the extra period and never gave up the lead in claiming the win. Brennan Hughes led the Mules with 17 points and grabbed 10 rebounds against SBU. He also swatted 4 shot attempts, tying the most in a single game by a Mule this season. UCM shot 43% from the field while holding the Bearcats to just 36% shooting. UCM's win over Missouri Southern gave the number 25 Mules basketball team 19 wins for the 4th consecutive season. Rakeem Dickerson's go-ahead jumper just in front of the free throw line with 5 seconds left gave the Mules their 4th straight win over the Lions in the all-time series. The game saw 11 lead changes and 6 ties. For the Sports Page, I'm Taylor Wicks. Now let's hand it over to Andrew Baker for a look at Jennies basketball.
Jennies basketball dropped its season opener at Minnesota State, then rattled off 5 consecutive wins, all but one on the road. UCM did drop its conference opener, a 76-75 overtime defeat at Fort Hays, but the Jennies bounced back and claimed victory in 5 of the next 6 contests. They then had 3 straight games against teams ranked in the top 10 of NCAA Division II. UCM started that run on the road against the number 8 Washburn. The Jennies took a 61-60 lead with just under a minute and a half remaining and withstood a late Washburn charge to take the 64-61 win. Jasmine Thompson led the offensive attack with 14 points for UCM. The Jennies weren't as fortunate their next time out, however, falling 54-52 at home to number 5 Pittsburgh State. UCM shot over 30% down the stretch. Shelby Winkleman had a chance to go give the Jennies the win, but her 3-point attempt with 3 seconds left hit the iron, and that was the ballgame. The resilient Jennies, though, were undaunted and came out energized for their matchup with number 1 ranked Emporia State. After a first half that saw 4 ties and 9 lead changes, the Hornets built an 8-point lead in the early going of the second half, but the Jennies would not go away. With 1:34 remaining, Ravonia Howard scored from close range to put UCM up 61-59, the Jennies' first lead since late in the first half. Emporia State tied it again with 59 seconds remaining, but Shelby Winkelman sank a pair of free throws with 5 seconds left, and UCM had the 62-61 win. It was the first time since January 15th, 2005, that the Jennies had defeated a #1 ranked team. The Jennies dropped 4 of their next 5, including a 71-65 decision at Missouri Southern on Saturday, January 31st. But the Jennies got back on track when they defeated Southwest Baptist 79-67 on February 5th. Seniors Ravonia Howard and Justina Prairie Chief both tallied double-doubles, and UCM exploded for 51 points in the second half, a season high. The Jennies made it 2 in a row with a 13-point win against Missouri Southern on Saturday, February 7th at the Multipurpose Building. Howard tallied her 4th double-double in the 5 games with a 19-point, 10-rebound performance against the Lions. The Chicago, Illinois native added 3 blocks, giving her 80 for her career. That's 1 behind Dawn Thompson for 7th place on the Jennies all-time list. I'm Andrew Baker reporting for SportsPage. That's it from the hardwood. Alex Agueros has our report from the wrestling mat.
The Mules wrestling squad is 4-12, 0-4 in the MIAA. Injuries have taken a toll on the Mules as they have had to forfeit several weight classes or use inexperienced wrestlers the last several matches. Defending national champion Frank Cagnina is ranked number 2 in the nation at 149 pounds and is 16-1 with 5 pins and 7 major decisions. Sophomore 125-pounder Malachi Collins is 14-8. And sophomore 165-pounder Josh Thompson is 20-9 with 10 wins by fall. Sophomore 197-pounder Nicholas Lovejoy has been a bright spot. He is 10-14 but has won 3 of his last 6 matches, including 2 by major decision. Evan Young has also been on a major run for the Mules. The freshman 157-pounder had won his last 6 matches before dropping his last match against Fort Hays State. He is now 12-8 on the season. And junior Archie Williams was on a 4-match win streak until falling against Fort Hays. His record is now 14-10 at 174 pounds. The Mules have 2 more matches before hosting the MIAA Championship Sunday, February 15th. I'm Alex Agueros for SportsPage. Now we go to the track to hear from Jason Ketz.
Both the Mules and Jennies track teams have had strong finishes in their first 2 team events of the season. The number 7 ranked Mule squad has been impressive with several provisional performances. Junior thrower Kanisha Rayner has already qualified for nationals in the weight throw with a toss of 62 feet, 9 1/4 inches. At the Mule relays on January 31st, sophomore Cole Phillips attempted to break the building record in the pole vault, but fell just short on his final attempt. The jumpers are led by senior George Charlambos, who has the 3rd best high jump in the MIAA and has back-to-back first-place finishes in the long jump. On the women's side, the Jennies own the top spot in the Division II national rankings. Zoe Sharplin won the 60-meter hurdles final in a season best and NCAA provisional qualifying time of 8.63 seconds, which is the 3rd best time in Division II this season. Defending national champion thrower Heaven Warner has already broken both school and building records in the weight throw at 20.83 meters, along with back-to-back first-place finishes in the shot put. As for the jumpers, freshman Erica Kinsey has set the new bar. Kinsey's high jump of 1.9 meters breaks both the school and building records. This is the highest jump across all 3 divisions so far this season. For UCM SportsPage, I'm Jason Ketz. Now let's head to the lanes to hear about Jennies bowling from Joe Moore.
The Jennies bowling team is 8 matches into its 2014-2015 season. UCM has recorded 3 top 4 finishes in its first 3 matches of the spring portion of the season. UCM opened the spring January 16th by finishing 4th at the Arkansas State Midwinter Classic. The next week, the Jennies finished 2nd at the Kutztown Invitational. Most recently, the 4th-ranked Jennies bowling squad went 1-2 on the final day of competition at the Prairie View A&M Invitational Invitational and finished in 4th place for the tournament. The Jennies beat North Carolina A&T in the first match of the day to earn the number 4 seed in bracket play. The Jennies dropped their first match of bracket play 4-1 to top-seeded Farley Dickinson. UCM took the opening match 212 to 202, but then dropped 4 straight to Farley Dickinson. UCM fell 4.5 to 1.5 to Arkansas State in the 3rd place match to finish in 4th. Mary Wells earned all-tournament team honors after finishing in 5th place individually with a 224.4 average. Haley Richard was 11th with a 220 average, and Gabriella Mayfield finished in 12th at 219.3. The Jennies are back in action February 13th through 15th at the Stephen F. Austin Invitational in Houston, Texas. For SportsPage, I'm Joe Moore.
So that's the latest update on our winter sports teams, and of course we'll have weekly recaps for you as the season continues.
Keep an eye on Mules Wrestling. The squad is only about a week away from hosting the MIAA Championships.
And we'll take a look at where all our teams are sitting in the conference standings when we come back from this break. Stay tuned. You're watching SportsPage on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS.
What if news wasn't just a commodity,
but a commitment?
The fiscal cliff is a fiscal suicide.
Why shouldn't we explore every side of the story?
The Syrian army had pulled back.
Where can you turn for news you can trust?
How do we make sense of something like this?
On PBS, we believe journalism should never stop asking questions.
Give to your PBS station and support independent journalism.
We answer to no one but you.
I choose to be a champion.
I choose to be inspired.
I choose the perfect fit.
I choose red to experience learning to a greater degree.
Choose red. Choose the University of Central Missouri.
Welcome back to SportsPage here on KMOS-TV. We've updated you on the seasons for our Mules and Jennies.
But there are some other important things to talk about, like where our teams are ranked in the MIAA standings.
Let's check out the MIAA standings through Wednesday, February 11th, with just 3 weeks left in the regular season. The Mules, Northwest Missouri State and Lindenwood are tied at the top of the MIAA men's basketball. Pittsburgh State and Nebraska Kearney round out the top 5. In the women's side, Fort Hays State has clinched a first-round bye in the tournament and leads the league. Pittsburgh State and Emporia State are 2nd and 3rd in the league and also have clinched spots in the MIAA tournament. Missouri Southern is 4th at 8-5, a half game ahead of the Jennies. And wrestling, Lindenwood claimed the MIAA regular season title, and they'll be the top seed going into this weekend's conference tournament. Nebraska Kearney is 2nd with Fort Hays State in 3rd.
For basketball, it's important to be at the top of those MIAA standings because that will get a team a bye in the first round of the conference tournament.
Both basketball teams have contests this week that could help them get a boost in those standings. And as we said, the Mules wrestling team will be competing in its conference tournament on Sunday.
That's right. Good luck to the Mules. Well, this is a time of the year where the winter and spring seasons collide. Lots on tap. Let's take a look at our upcoming events for Thursday, February 12th through Wednesday, February 18th. The Jennies and Mules basketball teams are back in action Saturday, February 14th to host Lindenwood at the multipurpose building. Action begins with the women's game at 1:30. The men will follow at 3:30.
The Mules wrestling team will host the 2015 MIAA wrestling tournament Sunday. Matches begin at 9 a.m. with the championship rounds to begin at 3:30 p.m.
The Mules and Jennies track and field teams travel to Allendale, Michigan, Friday, February 13th to compete in the Grand Valley Big Meet. Competition begins at 11 a.m.
Jennies bowling competes at the Stephen F. Austin Invitational in Houston, Texas, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Play begins at 9 a.m. all 3 days.
Mules baseball team is back in Arkansas this weekend. UCM will play a doubleheader Friday against Southern Arkansas in Magnolia. Games begin at 2 and 4. The Mules will then face Lincoln on Saturday with first pitch slated for 2 p.m.
And Jennies softball gets its 2015 campaign underway this weekend in a big way. 6 games scheduled for the Jennies Friday through Sunday in the Arkansas Monticello Softball Classic in Bentonville, Arkansas. UCM will face Henderson State at 3 p.m. and Northwestern Oklahoma at 5 p.m. on Friday. The Jennies come back Saturday to take on Illinois Springfield at 9 a.m. and William Jewell at 11. They will wrap up the weekend Sunday against East Central at 9 a.m. and against Quincy at 3 p.m.
So that's a look at the upcoming games. A reminder, you can watch all the Mules and Jennies home basketball games and the MIAA wrestling tournament on pay-per-view through Stretch Internet. Just go to UCMathletics.com. Go to respective UCM athletics schedule and click on video and follow the prompts.
Viewers in Warrensburg, Clinton, Knob Noster, and Sedalia can also watch a replay of Saturday's basketball doubleheader against Lindenwood Monday on our sister station, UCM-TV Charter Channel 989, Channel 12-6 if you have a digital tuner. The Jennies game will be replayed at 6 p.m. with the Mules game to follow immediately after.
And of course, be sure to tune in to Sports Page each week. We'll bring you game recaps, keep you up to date on the MIAA standings, and we'll feature the stories of student athletes, coaches, and other staff here at UCM. For this week's edition of Sports Page, I'm Adrienne Columbus.
I'm Jason Katz.
And I'm Benjamin Eaton. Thanks for watching Sports Page on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. See you next week.
For technology needs, campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, crossroads to technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.